So I've been anticipating the Mario movie for a while now, but here's what I want to say first. I actually never played the games. I mean, I've played some of the games here and there, but I never really got into them. I guess it was just something that never really interested me. I was more of a Sonic guy than a Mario guy, you know? But when this movie was announced back in early 2018 and it was going to be made by Illumination, some people were a little worried. Because, you know, these were the same people behind the Minions, and some people don't really like the Minions, and they have a track record of some movies. While I wasn't too upset about it, I mean, I liked some of their movies growing up, I guess people just didn't want to deal with more Minion shenanigans, which I didn't think they were going to do with this movie. I was curious on how they were going to make this movie, and when the cast was announced in late 2021, people were concerned. That's the best way I can describe on what happened during that announcement that day.
Make an announcement, folks.
But hey, I still went along with it. It's not the best. The worst thing is how they were gonna look. While some people didn't really mind the delay of the movie, I was still on board with it, with nothing really new coming out during the following months. And when the first poster and first trailer was released in October, it was the biggest sigh of relief that people had. This actually looks like a Mario movie. Will this be the best video game adaptation? And will it finally break the video game film curse? And will it live up to the hype? Well, I guess I'm here to answer that for you, I guess. Well, again, I was never really a fan of the games, nor did I never really grew up with it. I can say that I got a little into it when the release of the movie was coming. I looked at gameplays of what Mario games people were playing, I listened to the soundtrack, and I liked the characters. There's a lot to count, but I can say that I did become a bit of a fan of the franchise during that time. I even got one of their new games when the movie was coming out back in October. So I was more excited for this than I thought I was gonna be. Now that the movie's finally out and the reviews are yeah, pretty sure these guys never actually played a Mario game. Now that I've seen the movie, here are things that I actually liked about it. The thing I do like about it is that there are a lot of references in this movie, which a lot of Nintendo fans can understand. I mean, I didn't really catch up in a lot of it because I was never really a big Nintendo fan growing up. While there weren't as many as some people say there were, or I just couldn't really catch them all, I still appreciate what they put in there. Another thing I like is the soundtrack. There is music from the games that they added into the movie, and it made me happy. I mean, just listen to this. I wish they would have added a little more, but what we got, I wasn't really too upset about it. I really liked the opening of the movie and how it showed a lot of the references in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I was really into it. And I also really liked that they're keeping the source materials from the games added into the movie. Even though they did it with the Sonic movies, there wasn't really a lot to add into those ones. But yeah, I really liked the references they added into the movie, and the animation is really good. It's probably one of the best looking Illumination films that I've seen. And it sometimes doesn't really feel like an Illumination movie at times because there's just so much of the movie that didn't really bore me, and I also didn't really mind the voice cast in the movie too. Even though people were worried about how they're gonna sound, they actually did a pretty good job. Even though it's not the best, but I think they did a pretty good job still. Obviously the best performance in this movie is Jack Black as Bowser. While Chris Pratt is doing fine as Mario, even though it's not the best, but he was serviceable, but that doesn't mean I hated it. I still really liked his voice in the movie. And I also liked the characters as well, but I do wish they had a little more development because when Mario met Peach, it seemed like Peach didn't really get much interaction with Mario. She's like, alright, you're a new human here, but you're gonna come with me on my adventure anyways. It's just the same with almost every action they have, even the same when Toad met Mario, which kind of annoyed me a little bit, but it didn't really ruin my enjoyment, but I just kind of wish the characters would have interacted more to get a little more development, but I wasn't really too upset about it, because we honestly don't really need that type of thing in a Mario movie, unless I kind of wish they had that in my case. In fact, that leads to other thing that I agree with what other people are saying about this movie. The movie moves too fast. At first I didn't really mind the movie being only an hour and 32 minutes, and some people do wish the movie was a bit longer, which I agree. But I wasn't too disappointed about it. And another thing is the licensed music they added in the movie. Some people didn't really like it, and I actually don't really mind it. But it did bug me a little more over time because they would have just added the original score into it to make it more fitting, and it could have been better, but then again, I still didn't really mind the licensed music. And also, stop adding the I Need a Hero song in every movie. I've never seen Shrek 2, but I heard they did that better in that movie. So those are my minor complaints about the movie, but other than that, I had a really good time with this movie. This movie isn't perfect, it's just a fun movie to watch. If you're not a Nintendo fan, or if you never really grew up with the games like me, you might find some enjoyment out of this. But if you are a Mario fan or just a Nintendo fan in general, then you're probably gonna really like it. While this movie is doing very well financially and it's one of the highest grossing movies of this year, wow. I don't know what the future holds for future Nintendo films or other game adaptations. But other than that, I really like the movie. Go give it a watch if you just want to see some entertainment or just want to see another video game movie. I'm gonna try and end this and not in a corny way, so... If you're not watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, then you're gonna turn into a Goomba. That's the best ending that I can think of.
Pop, pop.